You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Black and White Sports fans, I know that we're living in the woke sports era. Woke sports has been around for the better part of a year, and it's gotten way out of hand. And it's only getting worse, with the Tokyo Olympics actually coming up later on this year. And we've seen a lot of woke athletes out there. But now, folks, we got a blast from the past here in Scottie Pippen, 6-time world champion from the Chicago Bulls, playing alongside Michael Jordan and coached by the great Phil Jackson. Now, folks, we know that Scottie Pippen has been on a rampage out there, blasting everybody. He's even thrown Michael Jordan under the bus in his new book that's going to be coming out. And I do believe that Scottie is really doing a lot of promotion with the things he's actually saying right now. But folks, this may actually be the worst one yet. Scottie Pippen is really putting Phil Jackson on blast now. We all know that Phil Jackson drew up a play for Tony Kukoc to take the last shot. And Scottie Pippen has not gotten over that. And now, folks, Scottie Pippen is actually addressing that in more detail. And Scottie Pippen actually is calling Phil Jackson racist. I can't believe this, but I heard it from his own mouth, and I'm going to let you guys hear this too. This seems pretty insane, even for the most woke of athletes, I believe. I truly do believe that. So we're going to be diving into all of that in this video, guys. But first, you can actually see I'm rocking the Black and White Sports Texas Edition shirt. We just have this bad boy in the merch store. I just got this one today, and we're going to give you our biggest discount. We're extending our biggest discount to the end of the month. Use the discount code GWENSUTS1, S-U-X, and the number 1, all one word, and we're going to give you 23% off your purchase, folks. You guys can thank Rhodes for that huge discount here. But you can see here it comes in red, black, blue, all the colors. This is one clean shirt, ladies and gentlemen. And there you can actually see it blown up just a little bit. But let's jump into this, guys. Scottie Pippen continues his scorch earth tour, I should say. Calls Phil Jackson racist. Yeah, this is crazy, folks. And there's a clip here of him actually talking to Dan Patrick here. Let me blow this up because we're going to listen to this. And I don't know what's up with Scottie's hair. Scottie, I guess he was pretty high when he was actually doing this interview. But check this out. Let's react to it.
Help me understand the GQ article where you talked about the 1994 playoff game when you refused to go back in the game and Phil set up the play for Tony Kukoc.
Well, I mean, it's not much to be said. If you go back and look at when Scottie Pippen entered the Bulls and when Tony Kukoc entered the Bulls and who deserved the last shot of the game.
Why is he actually talking about himself in the third person? But let's move on.
Game.
No. I understand that, Scottie. I'm just going by what you said. You said you need to read between the fine lines. And then you go on to say it was a racial move to give him, Tony Kukoc, a rise. So,
well, I mean, if you knew that Scottie Pippen had been with the Bulls from 87, battled through the Pistons and every other team that we had to get to those 3 championships, wouldn't you give Scottie Pippen one opportunity to get a last-second shot without?
This is pretty crazy, folks. This is really, really crazy. He keeps talking about himself in the third person. Why?
Michael Jordan, like 1 year without Michael Jordan. Can I get one shot? Like, I'm doing all the dirty work.
But all of that I understand from the basketball standpoint. But when you say a racial move,
well, why would Tony, who was a rookie, get the last second shot and you put me out of bounds? That's what I mean, racial. Like, that was Scottie Pippen's team.
But
Scottie
Phil
Pippen
then
was on pace to be an MVP that year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you weren't winning MVP. I mean, you were good that year, but Akeem Olajuwon rightly deserved that MVP, and you weren't even close to being on Akeem's level. Let's just be clear about that.
Okay, well, why would you put him in a position not to be successful? Why wouldn't you put him in a position to succeed? Michael Jordan is not there. So who's next in line for you?
But have you talked to Phil about this? Because by saying a racial move, then you're calling Phil a racist.
I don't got a problem with that.
Do you think Phil was or is?
Oh, yeah. I mean, do you remember Phil Jackson left the Lakers, wrote a book on Kobe Bryant, and then
Wow. He said he doesn't have a problem with that. Dan Patrick doubles down and asks him, are you saying that Phil Jackson is racist? And he says yes. And then he goes on to Kobe Bryant. Here, let's listen to that part here.
and came back and coached him? I mean, who would do that? You name someone in professional sports that would do that, you know?
Well, for one thing, we all know that Kobe was extremely difficult to deal with. And him and Phil did not get along during that first run at all. Phil ended up leaving the Lakers, but he did come back, and Kobe and Phil got along. But Kobe, I know we're going to have revisionist history. Kobe was not well liked, especially in those early years. He was not well liked, and that's been pretty well documented. I mean, I'm not trampling on the man's grave, but that was the truth. He wasn't well liked.
I think he tried to expose Kobe in a way that he shouldn't have. You're the head coach, and you're the guy that sits in the locker room and tells the players, this is a circle, and everything stays within the circle, because that's what team is about. But you as the head coach, open it up, and now you go out and you try to belittle, at that time, probably one of the greatest players in the game.
Well, it feels like he's disloyal. I don't know if that makes him a racist.
I can go with that. I can go with what Dan Patrick said. You know, disloyal, that's one thing. That's completely different from being racist. But Scottie Pippen, up to this point, has still not given a good example as to how Phil Jackson was racist. I'm not seeing it.
Well, that's your way of putting it out, and I have my way. I was in the locker room with him. I was in practices with him. You're looking for him afar.
Okay, then give us an example where we're not seeing. You seen Phil Jackson in practice? Let us know. Tell us something.
Yeah, and look, that's why I wanted to have you on. But I go back, and Phil designed a play for Steve Kerr when Mike was there. And Mike didn't have a problem with that, did he?
I don't want to. You're not setting me up to answer the right question. What do you mean Phil set up a play for Steve Kerr? He didn't set that play for Steve Kerr. He set that play for Michael Jordan.
I thought in the huddle, Mike says, "I'm going to throw you the ball. You'll be open at the foul line." And Phil had nothing to do with that.
And you don't want to get this show started because it'll take us a long time. Do you know all those cameras that's sitting in that huddle who they was working for?
The NBA.
So you know who Michael was speaking to when he said that, right? That was planned. That was speaking to the camera. That wasn't speaking out of what we're going to have to do, what the play is going to be. That was speaking to the camera. Had John Stockton not came down, trust me. But that was building his own documentary because he knew he was controlling the cameras. You understand English?
Yeah.
Okay. So all those cameras that was
Come on, did you have to insult Dan Patrick?
were working basically for Michael Jordan, not for the Chicago Bulls.
But
they were building the Come Fly With Me, the Air Jordan videos. That's what it was. That was not naturally spoken.
Okay. All right.
That was rehearsed.
Okay.
So, Scottie Pippen. So you have a problem with Jordan. You throw Phil Jackson under the bus. You call him a racist. But my question is, why in the hell, 1995, I remember you were on camera. I remember this, 1995. You were sitting on the bench. You had your Air Jordans on, and you were like, MJ, come back. Why? Why? It seems like you definitely wanted to be the man, Why were you advocating for Michael Jordan to come back? You know that you were going to be number 2. You're still playing for Phil Jackson. This doesn't make any sense, guys. This does not make any sense. Scottie Pippen is completely off his rocker. He clearly wants to sell books. I believe he's just saying all of this for book sales. There's been no evidence whatsoever that Phil Jackson is a racist. None whatsoever. I mean, Shaq has played for Phil, and Shaq loved Phil. Kobe played for Phil. Of course, first they didn't get along. But over time, they liked each other a lot. Michael Jordan loved Phil Jackson. Scottie Pippen is the only one calling Phil Jackson a racist. This is idiotic right here. This is idiotic. He wants to sell his book. And you know what? He may actually get some sales because he's out there and he's saying a whole bunch of crazy stuff out there. He's throwing everybody under the bus. Charles Barkley, Kevin Durant. But this Phil Jackson take may be the one that's going to get the most attention. I mean, even more so, than throwing Michael Jordan under the bus. Because we all know that Michael Jordan, tough on teammates, and Michael Jordan throws people under the bus. Scottie wasn't presented very well in Last Dance. We get all of that. But this Phil Jackson take here is ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, do you guys agree with Scottie Pippen that Phil Jackson is and was a racist? And that the move to give Tony Kukoc the last shot was racially motivated? This just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I completely disagree with Scottie Pippen. I really, really do. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to Black and White Sports. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.